Hannah. It's almost like I try to be more attractive each time I see you. Look at this. I'm still in India, as I will be for what currently seems like forever. My sister, because I was worried about spending so long in India, she was like, oh, you know, when I studied abroad, it totally flew by. It seemed like no time at all. Yeah, it's like the opposite here. It seems like way more time than it actually is. And it's not necessarily because I'm having a bad time. I guess it's just because I'm doing so much. I really don't know. I'm not the only one that feels this way, though, because I've talked to other people about it, and they agree with me. But it's very, very odd, because we've only been here, like, 2 full weeks, and it feels like a month or more. So it's kind of scary to realize just how much longer we do have here, and if I can actually survive that. I've already had some issues, as we know, and I'm having some problem with social things. Like, I feel like everyone's hanging out, and I'm never invited, but I'm too awkward to, like, try to invite myself, which I actually don't think they would mind. I don't think it's like a, oh, let's not invite Caety thing. I think it's just more that, like, they're all together, and, like, I often go off by myself, and then I can't get back with the group, and yeah, it's a problem. We went to these very famous caves this weekend. They're all near Aurangabad, and one set's called the Ajunta caves, and they're Buddhist. And the other set is called the Ellora caves, and one of those is Jainist, the Jains being a random religious sect that I had never known much about, and the other one being Hindu. And so we visited all these temples, and, like, they're crazy cool, because they really are caves in the sense that they were cut out from the rock. They're not natural. And so they're monolithic. So they do these amazing carvings of, like, entire buildings and, like, multiple story buildings and just all this stuff. And it was all carved out of one single rock, which is just mind-blowing. The Ellora caves are much more sort of focused on the carving, whereas the Ajunta caves are focused on painting, and it's amazing that those paintings are even still visible, because normally paint is the first thing to go, but because of how they were built and how they were protected, there's still a ton of paint. So that's pretty amazing, because, like, one of the caves, like the cave temples, dates from the 2nd century BC, and you can still see paint. We had a tour for the caves, though my friends and I also did some exploring when we were given free time, and we ended up doing sun salutation facing a Buddha, which was just a very amusing experience. We also visited a fort. It's called the Aurangabad Fort. You'd think I would know it better since I, like, went to it. And it's crazy cool. It's, like, crazy still intact considering how freaking old it is. And there's, like, it's from the 14th century, and there's, like, all these details you can still see, and it was never conquered. The reason is because it had, like, 5 million layers of defense. It had 7 walls. It had this one part called the Death Gate because of how it was built. Like, they would normally open up these gates by having elephants run at them, but they had, like, spikes on them, so this is awful. They would stick a camel to the door, basically, and then have an elephant run at that, so the elephant wouldn't get the spikes. It was bad. But so that was the first level, and then the second level, there wasn't enough room, based on how it was built, for them to knock down the next gate with an elephant, and then meanwhile, up above, the soldiers from the home fort are pouring, like, vats of, like, hot wax on these, like, enemy soldiers. So that was the Death Gate. And then there was also this like, sheer cliff that was, again, just carved from this freaking rock, totally man-made, just like the caves, the temples I was talking about. I don't know what these people, like, what they would have done if they had Facebook, but clearly none of this, because they did this stuff with, like, a chisel. So there was a moat below this sheer drop, and there was no bridge. The soldiers living in the home fort, they would usually, like, put some kind of bridge across. It wasn't a drawbridge, it was more like a leather bridge or something. They would put that across and they were using it, but when people attacked, they would get rid of it. So, like, you were kind of screwed to get across. And then, as if that's not enough, there's an epic series of tunnels that lead up to the actual fort, because, I mean, the thing's on the top of a freaking hill. And these tunnels had uneven ground, and they were, like, had lots of dead ends on purpose, so it was basically a maze. Pitch black, and soldiers from the fort would hide in various places and, like, stab people, and they would also have various little holes in the fort that they would, like, build a fire outside so the smoke would come in. So people would think, oh, there's an exit that way, and they'd go out towards that exit, and it was usually, like, a sheer drop to, like, the moat below. Since then, they've smoothed out the ground and added stairs, but it's still pitch black. You have to have a flashlight to go through, and bats have moved in. So many bats. I've never been in the presence of that many bats in my life. I'm actually really glad it was pitch black because otherwise I would have flipped out due to all the bats. Next week, my friends and I are going on our week break trip, and we're going to go to Calcutta, the Sundarbans, which is like this natural reserve, and Darjeeling, which, hello, Darjeeling tea. We all know my feelings about tea. I guess I'm just hoping I can still sort of survive this trip and focus on the good things, because there are good things for sure, and I'm glad I'm here. I would say it's not what I was expecting, except it is. I was expecting it to be craziness here, and for me to not necessarily get along with everyone, you know, that kind of stuff. But it's, I don't know, it's a lot. I'm not sure I'd recommend studying abroad in India to everybody. Going to India, yes. Studying abroad, it's not exactly the best long-term place. But then again, I'm only like 2 weeks into this thing, so maybe I'll change my mind. Okay, I love you, and I'm so sorry I missed your birthday. Happy birthday. You're so old. TBA.